Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Thursday Xfinity Series. We are looking forward to tonight's action here on Green White Checker TV as we get ready for 75 laps at Talladega Superspeedway, the 2.65-mile racetrack here in Alabama. Looking forward to the action, and you saw on the screen there, we'll bring it back up, but the playoff graphic um, already talked about here early on. This is going to be a big cutoff race for those playoffs. We're going to take the top 12, and they are going to compete for the championship here over the final 2 weeks of this race season here in 2024. Gabe Butler has a solid lead over Ed DeBoer, Nicholas Wing, and Kevin Freese at the moment. Dean Wilkinson in the top 5 there, 172 points for his name. Bud Steele, Eric Laurie, solidly in contention for the playoffs here, still looking for a decent night for themselves, as well as Carl Lingle and Jim Brooks. And then Dustin Logston in 10th. Now at 11th, Tom Dixon gets a little closer to that cutoff line. 143 points, and Austin Call's 142 to Bob Fitzgerald's 137. So that will be the cutoff there between Austin and Bob, separated by 5 points at the moment, and trying to see who can take that final and 12th spot, see if Bob Fitzgerald will be able to jump up into a spot, or if someone else from further on back will be able to steal one. So we'll try and keep an eye on that, or at least keep an eye on those drivers that are in the middle of that battle as we go throughout the night. And we'll wait for the official word at the end of the night to see who the top 12 will be competing in the playoffs for the championship again over the final 2 weeks of this season. So a lot to get to tonight. Again, 75 laps will be the scheduled distance here at Talladega. And yeah, looking like it's going to be a beautiful night here in the virtual iRacing world for some solid stock car action. We've got about a minute and a half left in the qualifying session, so single car qualifying is underway, and then we will get to our grid to determine our pole sitter and the rest of the field where they will start here for this battle tonight. And pretty solid field, looking just over 20 cars or so, as again, single car runs are ongoing. You might hear a little bit of that in the background, but we're looking forward to the race here tonight. And as of right now, I think it'll be just me in the booth, but we'll have to wait and see until later.
That's what you
Oh,
think.
okay, sorry, can't hear you
Yeah,
popping
I
in
was
when I
here.
have streamer mode
I
on.
was. I was here, brother. You do your thing.
Well, Matt, now that I know that you're here, what are you looking forward to the most tonight?
Well, I'm trying to actually. I'm trying to look at the standings here. I just got into server. I snuck right through the back door. Oh. Pit stops. I keep saying it every week, Boomer. That that has to fall into play, as you saw the last couple of races. It has been a benefactor for some of these drivers to either get a win or end up being a lap down and just losing the draft. So if you want a good finish here, and um, pit stops are going to be the key under green flag conditions. I'm going to look here at the
Yep,
point standings if I can get.
we already
Ah,
pulled them up and went through them.
I gotcha.
So, um, but yeah, we are uh, done with qualifying here and taken to the grid. So we'll get those cameras set up on those drivers as they get ready to take to the field. And you see a couple names here. Haven't seen in a little while. We got actually the 9 of Charles Johnson back in the field, back in action. Eric Laurie there gridding, and we'll pull up those grid results. You'll see Dean Wilkinson, he's going to grab the pole for TW Motorsports in that number 55 Ford Mustang. Dude Conrad of Team Bootnock is going to start to his outside pole in that number 8 Chevrolet. Charles Johnson, you see there, will start third for tonight. And Robert Hooligan in the 126 will be to his outside, row number 2. Kevin Freese for the top 5 starting positions. He'll be in the number 25 Chevrolet. Eric Laurie in the 071 Case International Harvester Chevrolet to his outside. And we've got Tom Dixon and Les Levy side by side for row number 4. And then Mike Rimkus and Carl Lingle, they're going to share row number 10, rounding out that top 10 starting spots for tonight. Bud Steele of Roswell Motorsports will be found there in the inside of row number 6. And Andrew Schroeder in the 048 will be to his outside. Jeremy Osborne for Blind Squirrel Racing finds himself inside of row number 7. Roswell Motorsport driver Nick Wing is going to be to his outside in the number 28. Then we've got the Groover brothers, the first two to qualify without a time for tonight. They're going to start 15th and 16th side by side. Dustin Logston there inside of row number 9 with Ed DeBoer to his outside in that number 12. Jim Brooks and Rick Sanchez are going to share row number 10. Rounding out the top 20 starting positions for tonight. Another Blind Squirrel Racing entry, Ambrose Kniebel there in the 21st starting position. Bob Fitzgerald just below the cutoff line for the playoffs. He is in the 22nd starting position tonight. And Adam Kilday making return to the series in that number 85 inside of row number 12. And then Ryan Decker for Roswell Motorsports in the Sensi-sponsored Chevrolet will be our final starting position. Actually, we've got one more. That'll be... interesting. We've got 25 shown on the board, but only 24 cars. So we'll see where that discrepancy might be. But we are heading around the speedway. Pace car is up to pace speeds. And we're getting ready for, again, 75 laps of action here tonight. All right, so Matt, you talked about pit stops, how they're going to be ever so important. Obviously, that's something that we always focus on when we have opportunities for green flag action here. And it's going to be that execution that could be very important, or potentially the pit strategy in the field, depending on how those yellows fall for tonight's action.
Yeah, especially here. Well, it's not as bad as here as Atlanta, but man, talk about the real life pit road on some of these. Um, the real life pit road is, what is it? The exit of, is it the entering turn 3? Thank goodness that these guys are not doing that, because what the heck? My apologies.
So we'll be at Talladega this week. So the normal pit entry there, off of the short chute, which you see the pace car pulling into at the moment as we get ready to go here. Number 55 again in control of this restart. So pace car on pit road as we come through the trial over here. Again, always have to note as a broadcaster the very long trip that it takes from the entrance of pit road all the way to the short chute and getting ready up through the gears as we get into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air here at Talladega. 75 laps to determine who will make the playoffs tonight and compete for the championship here at the end of 2024. Side by side through turns 3 and 4 coming around to complete the first lap. A few drivers taking the opportunity to jump to the high side. Dude Conrad continues to lead the outside. The Dean Wilkinson machine on the inside, and it looks like he's going to come through and lead our first lap of the night from the pole. Got a couple new paint schemes out there. You see the purple cheer wine Ford Mustang of Dean Wilkinson, and we've got the all-white unsponsored 25 of Kevin Freese for this week. And obviously the switch for Eric Laurie, who was always running the infamous yellow and green paint schemes has now switched to Case International Harvester. Robert Hooligan there in the number 126 Budweiser 3 doors down machine. A lot of really great paint schemes here throughout the field. As we got one trying to, looks like Les Levy starting to make that third row happen. See if Tom Dixon, the 411, is going to go with him. He will for now, and there's a couple more further on back, the 05 and the 48. Trying to get to that high side, see what they can do to make something happen here. 3 wide early on here in lap number 3. Plenty of space here, as always, at Talladega for that type of action. It's 4 wide where it gets really tight here, but 3 wide pretty simple to do, even at speeds of over 190 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's good to see Les Levy in the field. Speaking of Les Levy, I think he's about to take the lead up top there, Boomer.
And they look like they've got a pretty solid run on the outside. Looks like Dean Wilkinson is going to get that lap led, but Les Levy just after the line grabs the lead on the high side and gets disconnected from his partner there, the 411. 3x3, about 4 rows deep now.
Yeah, me and Gael have been talking about Robert Hogan right there in that 126. He's been really, really hot on the Sunday series, but over here on Thursday, he's been ever so close to getting close to cracking that win here. He's been awful so close. A few little bit, little hiccups there and there and bad luck, and he's going to get one there, Boomer. I got a feeling. Maybe it could be tonight.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some very strong runs for him, but unfortunately, I mean, we've seen also a lot of bad luck and just not the results that he's hoping for, especially not for the effort that's been put in. That we've seen him, up front leading laps and kind of being there to control the front of the pack, and definitely in recent memory seen a few races that just didn't fall his way, unfortunately, and
Right.
sometimes that's the way that racing goes, and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah. Boomer, looks like these guys are still 3 wide here, 4 rows deep, and Les Levy is not giving up on that outside.
No, he's still got the 411 and Tom Dixon, and actually the 05 of Brian Wang up there in the gray and orange Toyota Supra as they try to bring that line to the front. I think Brian was actually the name that we were missing in the starting grid, so it would have been our final starting spot. So apologies to Brian Wang there, but yeah, he's already up 11, 12 spots there, so he's moving up quite a bit early on. So is behind Mike Rimkus is Ryan Decker, who is up 12 spots actually at the moment. So they're both kind of climbing up to the field. You see them in the 05 and the 48. They're on the high side in the outside lane, moving forward there as everyone else behind them just kind of singling out, single file, and kind of waiting for whatever action ahead of them to evolve. And we've still got 3x3 for 4 rows deep at the front of this pack, 7 laps in, and the 62 is going to finally get clear. He's going to go from the top to the bottom and cover 55 of Dean Wilkinson and take over that lead.
I'm probably going to expect Brian Wang probably push the 411, as long as he can to try and get the lead himself. So this is going to be. It shouldn't take him long. He's a very good pusher.
Yeah, they've definitely made some headway in that top lane with the 48 in tow, and now looks like 32 of Seth Groover is going to jump up to the high side as well. We'll see if his brother Patrick there in the middle in the Monster Energy machine is going to jump up to the top, but for now they're side by side. About 1/10 of the way through this one. 26 miles in the books.
There, I got a little bit of. Robert got a little bit of sideways there, kind of like. I don't want to jinx or anything. Shh, Matt, quiet.
And now the 411, there you go, gets cleared to the middle lane,
to
the bottom.
There. Now he goes down. Okay.
Dude, Conrad's going to continue to cover that middle lane.
Point. Yep. I knew it wouldn't take Brian Wang to push that 411. Didn't take him long at all. Hello, Caitlin Decker. How are you? Looks like your man is right. The second car right on the top lane. He's going to be just fine. He did very well that last Sunday, but hopefully uh, pull out a W.
He's up there, second in line on the outside, now pushing Brian Wang. It's just the two of them at the moment. Kevin Freese looking like he may move high, but he's going to stay kind of between the middle lane and the high lane. Not quite making his decision just yet. But Robert Hooligan's going to come up and take that lap lead as Dude Conrad gets down to the bottom. So on the inside, you've got Dude Conrad, Tom Dixon, and then Les Levy. The middle is the 126 of Robert Hooligan. He's got Eric Laurie, and then the Groover brothers. Patrick and Seth in that order as he's going to jump down to the bottom now, but the outside lane is now Brian Wang jumping to the middle. The outside lane now would be the 48 and the 25, so that's Ryan Decker and Kevin Freese, and Dean Wilkinson jumping back in the mix with Charles Johnson all the way on the high side. And this pack of 12 cars has really been about the same. As a little bit of a moment there for the 32, but keeps it straight, 32-62. No contact there, and we keep moving forward. But yeah, that pack of 12 cars there at the front really has kind of been the same 12 up in the mix. Just kind of figuring out. You see the 41 of Jeremy Osborne back here. He's kind of the first car out of that pack there, followed by his teammate Carl Lingle and Mike Rimkus, and then the rest of it's just single file action behind there. Drivers just trying to save a little bit of fuel and trying to avoid what could be some chaos up front. Is now Kevin Freese jumps to the middle, and maybe there's the bottom. Here he goes in front of the 126. So now Ryan Decker leads the middle lane with Brian Wang pushing the 55 and the 9 in the outside lane. A couple guys who are no strangers to working together for TW Motorsports there in the 55 and the 9, all the way high, wide, and handsome on the high side.
Yeah, they lost all their help on the top side. I can't see who's all the way back there trying to help. Okay, I say there he is. He's been awfully quiet. Seth Gruber in that 32 right on the top side there. Now looks like Dean Wilkinson will try and I guess go to the second lane, because every car that has joined that top lane has went to the second lane and at least took the lead, led a lap. So see if the trend continues.
Yeah, and that leading a lap obviously not quite as important as it used to be in the points, because we've gotten rid of quite a few of the bonus points in the series here. So leading a lap no longer gets you a bonus point towards the playoffs, but obviously still a good metric to kind of judge how your night's been going. And the more of those laps you spend up front, the better obviously you're going to hopefully end up, as Ryan Decker's going to click one off for himself there, a lap lead that is. And the 55 of Dean Wilkinson still working on the high side, trying to get back to the front after starting on tonight's pole. But Ryan Decker and Brian Wang still up quite a few spots. Obviously, neither of them elected to qualify or set a qualifying time. So Ryan Decker is up now 24 spots all the way to the lead, and Brian Wang is up 20 spots. So Ryan Decker from last place to first place in the starting grid, and Brian Wang from second to last all the way up to fourth, now fifth in the running order as it sits.
Wow. That's typical Brian, starting the back, and like he likes to race like that. Every time he'll do one of these super speedway starts, he's starting the back, minding his own business, just try to work his way forward. That's just typical Brian Wang. Well, as see, Boomer, that trend is still continuing, as we see Dean Wilkinson slide into that second lane and takes the point.
There he goes back to the lead, as there's a little bit of a gap in the middle lane. Big push from the 48 on the 55 down the back straightaway. And they've got a couple cars advantage to the inside and the outside of them, as the middle lane is now cleared by almost 3 cars.
looks like the pushes are getting a little bit aggressive. I've been seeing a couple of cars sideways as soon as they make contact with their bumper, like the 25 and the 48. As soon as you make just the ever so slight contact with the front bumper, that car gets a little sideways. But um, it's just crazy how these cars are. It's like the Gen 4 and the Xfinity just swapped. You know?
Yeah, they definitely have. I mean, obviously we've talked about it like crazy
Yeah.
on previous broadcasts about how much the model changes in iRacing, but these cars can be a handful at times for sure. But thankfully with Daytona or Talladega, excuse me, here, plenty of room to race, and so far so good. As 25 is going to try to jump to the outside middle lane, working with Dean Wilkinson. 48 in the 126 and the 8 lined up inside lane. And then 25 is going to jump down and cover. Now Dean Wilkinson. And we've got a Groover Brothers sandwich with Charles Johnson the meet in the middle as
Oh
Patrick
boy.
leads them now on the outside lane.
Hmm. Well, I think the trend is going to continue. Well, maybe we're approaching lap 17. Uh, I guess our fuel window is probably about 25, about 25-ish, 26-ish laps.
You think by now we'd learn to actually check that before the race starts, but yeah, that sounds about
Yeah.
good to me.
Yeah, they change it every week.
Yeah, that's what we'll say. It's always different every week, so we never know. But yeah. Ooh, sideways there for the 54. Gathers it. Loses a little bit of momentum, but no harm, no foul other than that.
I was trying to look and see if some of these cars are probably gonna go single file here, but I I don't think that's gonna happen, Boomer. These guys are just racing just for all it's worth right now. They're still 3 wide.
Yeah, 3 wide, about 2 or 3 rows deep. 54 and the 9 still hanging on in that high lane as a 25 running that bottom lane with the 48 of Ryan Decker. And we'll have to double check. I don't know if that's a trading paint error, but I think that may actually be a fully white unsponsored 25. And we see a black and red scheme for the 48 of Ryan Decker here tonight.
I've been having trading paint errors ever since I got on.
I had 2, but I refreshed it like 3 or 4 times. So we'll see. Hopefully that's not the case for Ryan. If he's still obviously supporting typically the Sensi colors, which we'll see them later on if we get to a commercial break. But we do see the updated purple Cheerwine machine again for Dean Wilkinson in that middle. There's 54 of Patrick Groover actually jumping to the lead and may get this lap led. It looks like he will. High side making moves all night long.
Yes, sir. But is he gonna pull right in front of that great looking cherry wine machine? I just don't think they have the pushing power, or Charles Johnson has attempts to do it. Yep, never mind. I'm wrong.
He had it there, got clear just enough in front of the 25, and he was going to jump down and control this race once again for the 3rd or 4th time from the inside lane after starting on the pole. No sense of urgency whatsoever for drivers to start getting down single file so that they can make their pit stops. We've still got about 8 cars in the middle lane, 2 cars all the way on the outside, and that's the 9 and the 32. But we continue green flag, working on lap number 20 of 75, the scheduled distance for tonight's contest. And the whole field here separated by about 1.9 seconds all the way back to Ambrose Kniebel in the 04 Chevrolet. As there's a slew of drivers here towards the back of the pack that are just kind of hanging out, waiting for whatever to unfold in front of them, and just have themselves a quiet night. Patrick Gruber's still working hard to get a few laps led here. He's got the 05 of Brian Wang with him. 071 of Eric Laurie. Back up into the top 6. Third car, middle lane. Top lane still the 9 of Charles Johnson and the 54 of Patrick Gruber. Dean Wilkinson, Kevin Freese, and Ryan Decker still lined up nose to tail in the inside lane.
And there's one car we really haven't talked about. And he's sitting there. I think he's that 5th car right in the middle. About that Rick Sanchez, that number 5 car. He's been slowly but surely making his way toward the front. Just quiet, just doing a Rick thing. Just waiting for the pit stops to come. I'm kind of looking for his teammate. I'm looking for Adam.
Yeah, Adam's
he's
just
right
ahead of
to
him.
his outside.
Yep.
Right to his outside. Yep.
So they're there, kind of in the middle pack. That's definitely names that we haven't talked about too much there, as well as obviously Dustin Longston, Andrew Schroeder, Les Levy's jumped back to join that pack there. Actually, Dustin Longston's got the old Born On Date Dale Jr. paint scheme. Love to see that.
Yep. I was a Dale Jr. fan growing up there, Boomer.
Oh yeah. But Steele's back here as well in the number 6 Navy Ford Mustang, as he looks to secure a spot in the championship battle here over the next 2 weeks.
You're starting to go single file here, Boomer. They still got a couple of cars, and knowing pit stops are closing in there, my friend.
Yep, lap number 23 of 75. If they can go 2 more, then they can only stretch it to 2 stops. We'll see if anybody at the front who's been using their fuel more is going to be able to stretch it that far or not. It'll definitely make it more convenient if everybody can get to at least lap 25. But then if you can't go too much further than that, that really won't create too many opportunities for differing pit strategies unless a yellow were to come out.
Don't jinx it, Boomer.
I'm just stating facts here, Matt.
Gael did that last week.
That's all we do is just state facts.
Only Gael would do that.
Obviously, according to Jamie, Gael was late earlier today, so we'll have to blame him for the broadcast not starting on time.
Gael. 100%.
Yeah. He has much needed night off.
Yeah. Family first, my friend. You know this. Anywho. We are on lap 25 here, Boomer. Right now, these guys are in their window for some green flag stops. So I probably expect them maybe go another lap or maybe 2 more, maybe 1 more extra further. Probably a lap 26, 27. Try and save as much fuel as they can for that last stop. Probably not take any tires. I'd probably look for maybe a bunch of 2-tire stops. Maybe just fuel only. We'll have to, as you'd say, wait and see. And do we have any takers? Yes, we do.
Pole sitter's in. The 126 is in. They got to get slowed down in time, though.
Oh, careful, Rick!
Rick Sanchez woed up in time, it looks like. We'll see if anybody gets a penalty from that, but there's a big crew from 14th on back now, starting with the leader, Dean Wilkinson, that are on pit road. So this should be a pretty sizable group coming down and back up to speed. Brian Wang is going to be the control car with Patrick Hoover, Eric Laurie, Kevin Freese, and Ryan Decker as all these crew stay out. And we'll see if they answer the call this time or if anybody's going to try and stretch it at least one more lap.
No penalties, my friend.
Clean
None.
pit entries for everybody. And we'll see the 05 gets in hot. The 54 gets in real hot. The 54, 48's going to go for a slide and a spin, and he's going to hit the inside wall.
Oh.
And Patrick Groover, I'm not convinced, won't have a penalty here with how fast he entered
Yeah.
pit lane.
Oh, my goodness. According to mine, he was 83 miles an hour when he crossed the line.
Yeah, that's not even close. So that'll be a penalty for the 54, unfortunately,
Ugh.
but we'll have to see where the field nets back out. Dean Wilkinson, Robert Hooligan, Charles Johnson, and Tom Dixon are connected here at the top of this first pack, and now you'll see Kevin Freese getting up to speed at the start-finish line. He's going to have Brian Wang, Dude Conrad, and Eric Laurie, as well as Adam Kilday and Seth Groover in tow, so we'll keep an eye on here as we'll see. Actually, we'll jump back and see Dean Wilkinson. He's going to enter turns 1 and 2 here, and he's passing a few of these cars as they are already up to speed, making their pit stop a lap sooner. Should be able to blend here with most of these drivers, and I think a sizable front pack should form in this group here. But Dean Wilkinson should have an opportunity to get back up to the front, if not pretty close to it.
Yeah, Kevin Freese and Brian Wang had an excellent pit stop. As Boomer, I keep saying it again. Look who's the first 4 spots up toward the front. Team Boonacher, the 25, the 05, the 8, the 071. Just, these guys are spot on.
Yeah, very good execution in that second pack, and it looks like staying out was more beneficial as Dean Wilkinson's only been able to crawl his way back to 8th after coming in from the 15th position. So Kevin Freese, Brian Wang, Dude Conrad, and Eric Laurie, as well as Adam Kelly, will be your top 5. And penalties for the 54 of Patrick Groover, and actually that looks like it, although we do see Ambrose Knievel coming back down pit road for a second pit stop. So unsure of the issues on that number 04 Chevrolet, but he's making his way out of the box now, and he'll be a couple laps down by the time he's able to rejoin this field. As Kevin Freese, and actually looks like Eric Laurie is coming in again as well. So potential pit exit violations, I'm not sure. But yeah, black flags I think for the 04 and for sure for the 071, as he looks like he's doing a pass-through penalty. He's going to skip his box, and yep, so pit exit penalty there for Eric Laurie and potentially for Ambrose Knievel as well. But Kevin Freese, Brian Wang, and Dude Conrad continue to lead us around the top 10 now in this first pack. Dustin Logston unable to hold on to that draft. So he's going to fall back to Andrew Schroeder, who's going to fall back to Les Levy through Jim Brooks from 13th through 18th. Further on back, we've got Jeremy Osborne and Carl Lingle in a group here together. Then Mike Rimkus very closely following. Then you see the 071 of Eric Laurie, who had to pit again, and then Bob Fitzgerald falling off the pace just a little bit there, as well as Patrick Groover, who we saw had the pit road penalty, and Ambrose Knievel, who also had the pass-through after the green flag pit cycle here. But we're working on lap number 30. We're only a few laps away from the halfway point, and only one more pit stop for the rest of the night here, Matt.
Yeah, as I said before, just execution, my friend. Right now, this field is pretty much separated by, I think, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 cars up in the lead draft. Notable guys who had pit penalties. Bob Fitzgerald in the 08, he did have an unsafe pit exit penalty, so that will put Bob at least close to being 1 lap down. Right there he is, about 39 seconds back toward the leader.
Yeah,
Other
so
than that,
oh, go ahead.
Other than that, it's still the Kevin Freese show pretty much running up front.
So Patrick Groover is going to be collected by this lead pack, so he will be the first car 1 lap down. Ambrose Knievel is 1 lap down, but he is in the second pack with Les Levy, Ed DeBoer, and others. And then obviously, as you mentioned, so Jeremy Osborne, Carl Engel, Mike Rimkus are a pack of three, about 18 seconds off the lead. Eric Laurie about 34 seconds. Bob Fitzgerald is 44 seconds and getting close to going one lap down, and he'll try to hold on to this lead group here and see if he can battle it out with the 54 for that lucky dog position should a yellow come out. And we keep moving along here, working on lap number 32.
More importantly, he's still with his brother.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, even though he is a lap down, he still has an opportunity to potentially hop back up there and help Seth, as Seth is working with Dean Wilkinson and Robert Hooligan in the outside lane in this pack. Top 10 drivers. Kevin Freese still working the inside with Brian Wang and the 8 of Dude Conrad. Obviously, Brian Wang has pushed quite a few cars up to the lead, and Kevin Freese has spent a little bit of time there once he got to the front. And it's been pretty status quo for them. The 85 of Adam Kilday up in this group, as well as the 9 of Charles Johnson, as well as Bud Steele and Tom Dixon.
I've been watching the second pack there, Boomer. See how far back. They're about 6 seconds back. The leaders are running. Kevin Freese that last time by ran a 50.236. Les Levy ran a 50.529. So about 2 to 3 tenths off pace. These guys are going to have to figure something out up there to catch up back up to the second pack there.
Yeah, tapering off a couple tenths a lap, and that gap growing, getting closer to 7 seconds now. As the last time by actually looks like that second pack was about 6 tenths of a second slower, 7 tenths of a second even slower than the previous lap. So, or than the guys at the front of the pack. So that's a big difference for sure. But
yeah,
that's going to be a hard deficit to overcome. Another deficit that may be difficult would be for the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. He finds himself in the 24th position. He's one lap down. He's in this lead pack, and that car ahead of him in the 54 of Patrick Groover is who he is going to be battling for the lucky dog position. But this is definitely not the position that he wants to be in, as if you remember at the top of the show, we highlighted that he is the first car out of the playoffs. Actually, he is 5 points behind Austin Call, who is not in the race tonight. So that looks like with that, there should be enough points for Bob Fitzgerald to get in. Now, it'll be interesting to see. Rick Sanchez is about 19 points behind Bob Fitzgerald. So it's possible for Rick, in the position that he's in, to potentially leapfrog the 08, but Rick is only about 12 spots ahead, and he would need to climb another 7 or so. So Bob would probably need to finish one of the last cars, and Rick would probably need to win the race in order for it to work out. But still potential, especially with Austin Call not in the race, for Bob or Rick to get in on points. Beyond that, Andrew Schroeder in 15th is about 33 points, 32 points off the lead, and I think at that point is mathematically impossible for him. So it'll be between Bob Fitzgerald and Rick Sanchez to determine probably that final spot in the top 12, who will race for the championship again over the playoffs in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, those kind of numbers, yeah, it's going to be pretty near impossible to catch up. But as you can say, anything can happen.
So pretty much set as far as what pit strategy is going to look like. Obviously, everyone coming down on either lap 25 or 26. So you'd assume that we could go to either lap 50 or 52. Not really too much room to play with if drivers can't save any additional fuel beyond that.
No.
So that'll kind of pretty much set up what the strategy is going to look like as far as pit stops and fuel mileage go. But in the same token, you probably want to make sure you're still saving enough fuel to be able to get as far as you can to avoid either running out or having to pit one more time, obviously.
right now this front group is really hauling the mail. I went back and I looked at the lap times. They're running about close to at least about 6 tenths, even from 6 tenths to a second faster per lap. Other, that's just they are hauling. They are not saving gas, Boomer.
Yeah, definitely not needing to, I don't think either, but obviously the 55 of Dean Wilkinson has been up at the front of this pack as well as Charles Johnson pretty much all night. Obviously Charles jumping back just a little bit at times, and then, but I mean, Dean's kind of methodically worked his way. He was obviously leading the first pack that came in and pitted and got back to about 8th. And that was the tail end of this pack here, and he's worked his way all the way. Ooh, a little bit of moment for the 32
Oh,
as
ooh,
he gets a
is
little sideways off the nose of the 25. He should be able to rejoin this pack here, no problem.
I think.
See, make sure the car doesn't get
Oh,
too upset over the apron, and he is back up in that group. A little disconnected on
oh
the
my
bottom,
goodness.
as 3 of the top lane are going to now jump to the bottom and cover Dean Wilkinson, Charles Johnson, Adam Kilday out to the lead.
I was just listening over the radio there. It said, I heard, whoops, I'm sorry. Luckily, these drivers are very nice to let each other back in. Other than that, it could have been really disastrous.
We'll check in a moment here for that second pack, as that gap has now grown to 10.3 seconds
Wow.
and growing by over a half a second a lap now at this point for Les Levy, Rick Sanchez, Ed DeBoer, Nick Wing. And that is a deficit that is absolutely going to be probably impossible to overcome, especially if they cannot match the lap times. And you see the 5 all over the rear bumper of the 62. Good connection there, good draft, but not sure if they just don't have the energy from that third car on back, or obviously, if the 5's getting too hot and can't push for too long before having to switch out with someone else. But it's still Les Levy at the lead of this pack in that 62. Rick Sanchez, Ed DeBoer, Nick Wing, Ryan Decker, Jim Brooks, Dustin Logson, and Andrew Schroeder here all the way back to 18th. Carl Lingle, Mike Remkus, and Jeremy Osborne have picked up another driver, and it looks like that's the 04 of Ambrose Kniebel, who is 1 lap down back in 25th. They're all together at the moment. Then obviously Patrick Groover, Eric Laurie now, and Bob Fitzgerald are the lap cars that are in this lead pack here as 54. Who's going to get a almost turn in front of the field? I was going to say he was trying to earn his lap back the hard way, and wow, what a save for the 54. 55 as well, and continuing green again, as that was a moment there that was a little scary, but still green flag and still cars pointed straight down the speedway.
All right, so this ponders me a little bit. Either you might know this answer, or maybe some of these drivers down there can give me an answer. So, running 2x2 um, can make these cars run faster in a pack. Have I seen guys over there, in the second pack, they're running single file. Huh.
Possibility for sure. The only saving grace for that second pack at the moment is that they're running about equal lap times, but that's because of the moment that we had that last time around for this lead pack. We do know that when there is a second lane formed, it's a lot easier to hold on to the draft if you're trying to catch up to it, if you are a couple seconds off the tail of that draft. But yeah, so far it seems like that does make a. I mean, obviously there's a difference in the cars. There's 10 in this pack. There's actually 9 in the second pack. So actually no, there's a few more lap cars in this one. So there's probably closer to like 12, 13 up here, and 9 in the other one. But I mean, car number wise, that's really not too much of a difference. So who knows? It could be the fact that Robert Hooligan and Bud Steele are trying to make something happen on the outside lane. But it's definitely a big difference there. And now you actually see
Right.
Seth Groover and Patrick have found each other, as we talked about earlier. They're behind the 25 of Kevin Freese and continuing to log laps here on lap 43, remembering that probably 50 to 52 will be the next pit window.
Yeah, some of these cars are starting to single file out and getting ready for the next stop. They're about 7 away from the window. But as you said, Boomer, think about 52, 53. I think that's their magic number where they're going to hit. I've been watching them experiment down there, and I've been watching Seth Groover push the 25, and they've been a little bit out of control, but they seem to hang on to it quite well. It looks like they're kind of testing the waters a little bit, as you would say.
Yeah, we've seen that from a few different drivers here and there, trying to see what they can do to practice moves and see what they can do at the end of the race. Obviously, if you can make a move, or you can practice it, or you can try to figure out how the draft's going to work or how runs might develop. That's definitely a big tool to have in the toolbox to understand how to make that winning move when it comes to finishing this race in just 30 laps time. But got to figure out how to make those moves and learn that, so when you make them you're not making them for the first time at the tail end of the race.
Right. When, oh when, are they going to leave Kevin Freeze out to dry? That's the next question. When are those Groover brothers are going to make the move, or are they just going to ride in content? I'm going to put you in the driver's seat there, Boomer. What would you do?
And I think at this point you're just kind of riding. You know that you've got one more pit stop to go. I don't think. I think at this point, you don't really have a lot of enemies. I think everybody in this pack is your friend to try and keep this group with as much cars in it as possible to to be able to potentially help you in the future. So I mean, I don't think that I'd be trying to. Obviously, also for the 32, the more I push the 25 out front, I save my own fuel. So if I'm Seth Groover, I'm feeling pretty happy right now, especially if we can get through this next pit cycle, and I can still have my brother behind me to help me out. And the if the Team Bootnaka drivers do stay disconnected like they are, then it could be an opportunity to try and get the better of them. So I like where Seth's at right now for sure, with the help that he has. I mean, his brother's obviously well back in the field, a lap down. To him, it really doesn't matter probably what happens, and even more than usual, obviously he'd be willing to help his brother, but even more than usual, it's just 100% like, I don't get anything out of this. I'm just gonna push him as far as I can. So I don't think there's any urgency or any point to anything crazy at the moment. So just kind of wait and see where it nets out once this final green flag pit stop and happens, and then go from there. That's at least my vantage point.
Looking up the top up there, I think Bud Steele is the only car going to the top lane. I don't think anybody's going to help him. He's sitting there trying to, I guess, gain spots before green flag stops here.
Yeah, and this tells me that the fact that he's able to run this high on the outside tells me that they're even Kevin Freese at the front of this pack is probably trying to save a little fuel, because you can see all by himself he's making a lot of moves, and he's going to try and get Patrick up there with him, or at least Patrick's going to force the issue and push himself there, and the two of them are going to see what they can do to try and get to the front of this pack.
That is quite interesting. I'm just kind of waiting, look and see what his brother's going to do. Is he going to jump to the outside? I don't think so, Boomer. I think he's going to stay content with Kevin there.
Yeah, he's plenty clear, but now he's not. Yeah, covered there so by his brother, but just interesting move for the 54. I mean, he's obviously trying to get a lap back. So they don't have a lot of time, though, because we're probably getting close to pit stops. Probably have to go at least one more time around on lap 50 coming to 51. So this will probably be one lap too early to see anybody on pit road, but you never know. The 6 is obviously trying to improve his position as much as he can, and the fact that he got all the way up there by himself tells me, again, At the 25 of Kevin Freese was saving fuel and not full throttle himself. So we'll see if the 25 has enough in the tank to get back around one more time to make that final pit stop and set sail for the end of this race.
2 laps to go. I think you're right, Boomer. I think that is the correct window because either Bud Steele, it looks like he's ready to. No, it kind of looked like for a minute that he's ready to give up the pushing. Uh, I think he might slide at the bottom here. Yep,
Yep,
he's
gets a spot.
exactly what he's going to do. Slide right down. Now Patrick is in a little bit of a bind here. I'm looking to see where Eric Laurie is. Okay, he's the third car in this pack toward the back. He needs to stay in front of Eric to be the first car lap down. Oh, wait a minute. Look up top there,
Seth.
Boomer. I
Yep.
think the brothers have gone together here.
And we'll see. Nobody's going to come down this time by. Seth and Patrick are going to get ahead of the 25. They make their move, and they're going to start to try and pull away as they get ready for what should be the final pit stop of the race. And the second pack further on back comes through the tri-oval themselves. Nobody on pit road this time by, so everyone able to stretch at least one more lap than the previous cycle as some came down on lap 25. But we are now flipping the counter from counting up to counting down. 25 laps to go. This will be the final third of this 75 lap scheduled distance. And we have pit stops coming. As you see a couple further on back, Carl Engel, Jeremy Osborne, and Ambrose Kniebel in this time by. Will these guys pit here, or will they wait another lap? Waiting another lap for
One
everybody
car.
except for Robert Hooligan, who's going to find himself very lonely on pit road
Wow.
without any drafting help. That is going to be very detrimental to the night of Robert Hooligan, and just a continuation of what's been not the greatest luck for him, but the second pack, Rick Sanchez, Les Levy, Ed DeBoer, Andrew Schroeder in this time by. That leaves 13 drivers out on the speedway on the lead lap.
I say about the best way for Robert Lease of his saving grace is if these cars pit and Robert probably takes fuel only, he might have a chance to get back with his paint pack. But Boomer, I just don't see it. But right now, I think our leader's heading down pit road right now.
Everybody, oh no, the Gruber brothers make contact! And the 55 slides, the 9 slides. We're 5 wide on pit road at the moment.
My goodness.
Wow, what a move.
Patrick, again, had a... Oh, man.
Patrick goes back all the way out on the speedway, and I'm sure has quite a few penalties for him, as the second group is going to come down pit road as well. Looks like Jim Brooks, the 81, the 85, all coming in. Ryan Decker this time by.
Wow.
Penalty for Dean Wilkinson. No, he's up and away. Never mind. So Adam Kilday is going to come out actually from the second group and take just fuel only and get out ahead of a few of the drivers in that first pack. Actually, excuse me, no, Adam Kilday was in the first pack. He's going to get out at the head of it. But Dude Conrad, Brian Wang, Dean Wilkinson, Kevin Freese, now your top 5. Charles Johnson, Seth Groover, Tom Dixon. Robert Hooligan is going to be 6 seconds back, but he is up to speed. And I don't think he's going to be able to catch Bud Steele, who is almost 6 seconds ahead of him. So he's probably going to fall back to the 28 of Nick Wing, as well as 51 of Jim Brooks and Ryan Decker, who are getting connected. And then Rick Sanchez leads the charge with Les Levy and Ed DeBoer further on back, which should be the formation of our second pack, which is about 11 seconds behind our leaders still.
What a crazy turn of events.
So Adam Kilday taking fuel only, as well as Dude Conrad. They're going to get all the way to the front.
Yeah.
They were in this lead pack, obviously, when we pit, but they leapfrog that group and get to the head of it.
Okay, Seth Groover was our leader heading in, but he sits in 7th. Just caught the back of Charles Johnson there. You see in your picture there. I was kind of see where Tom Dixon, Bud Steele is barely hanging on to that edge of that draft there.
Yeah, but it looks like he's within 8 tenths of a second, and it's not gaining. Yeah, it's starting to slowly decrease, so he's caught the back half of that
No.
draft. Yeah, now seven
Yes.
tenths of a second. So Bud Steele should be able to rejoin this group here. So it'll be ninth place on back, or ninth place on forward, excuse me. We'll be battling for the lead here in the closing stages. Jim Brooks now leads the second pack, who is about 10.8 seconds behind our leaders. Ryan Decker, Rick Sanchez, Ed DeBoer, Les Levy. Robert Hooligan actually got bypassed by that group a little bit there, but he's going to pick up Dustin Logston, the 28 of Nick Wing, and then Andrew Schroeder, whose beloved Jets lost the race for the AFC East this past weekend. Go Bills. And then 25
I
seconds on back, Carl Engel and Jeremy Osborne are in the pack, in a
I
pack together.
forgot you were. I'm sorry. I forgot you were a huge Bills fan.
Yeah, I just tried to sneak that in there, go Bills.
I know. I'm kind of glad you did.
Adam Kilday, with the move of the race so far, leapfrog in the pack, now controlling with 20 laps to go. Followed by Dude
Okay.
Conrad, Brian Wing, Dean Wilkinson, Kevin Freese. Go for it, man.
I was gonna say Bud Steele did cash into that pack there, and he's solidly in the draft. When are these guys gonna make the move? Probably very, very late in this. Maybe a little bit early. Show a little sign.
Yeah, we'll
Because Adam
see.
killed.
Well,
Hmm.
no,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just going to say the
Just
8, the 05, and the 25, they're kind of the only teammates that are in line, but the 55 and the 9 are separated by the 25. Also teammates
hmm
there. Um, so there's not really, I mean, obviously Adam kind of running by himself up there without Rick Sanchez helping. Tom Dixon, not an independent, but no help in this group right now. And then Bud Steele, really the only Roswell Motorsports driver up here. Um, so it seems like it's gonna be potentially a classic TW Motorsports versus Team Bootnaka shootout with Adam Kilday currently in control, trying to take it all away from them.
Also, don't forget. I know. We really haven't talked to him about much. Charles Johnson in that 9 car. We haven't really talked about him. He's sitting there solidly in the 6th position. He is a really good pusher. Don't ever count him out. Um, he's been in contention for these wins for the past couple of times he's been here. Every single time, you just got to put yourself in the spot. Right now, he is there. You just got to execute it. That's the toughest part.
Yeah, that execution being key. But these guys you see in the top 9 here are the ones that have done it so far, and are going to have to find a way to figure out how to do it to get their car into victory lane here tonight. And looking through some of the points battle, I've seen no Gabe Butler here tonight, but he is well ahead of the field and should still be towards the top. Well, actually, points will reset entirely, but he'll be probably technically either runner-up or potentially regular season champion, or within the top 5
Hmm.
almost guaranteed. Ed DeBoer, Nick Wing, Kevin Freese, Dean Wilkinson, nothing to worry about. Bud Steele solidly in. Going on further down, obviously Dustin Logston leading that second pack. He is in good shape. Tom Dixon up here in the lead pack, and then no Austin Call tonight, so it'll be between Bob Fitzgerald and Rick Sanchez for that final spot. And even though Bob Fitzgerald's in the 22nd position, Rick Sanchez is only in the 13th, and Rick had to overcome about a 19-point deficit. So realistically, with the field size we have here, like we said earlier, Rick would probably needing to be winning this race, with Bob finishing somewhere in the bottom 3. And obviously Bob's close to that, but Rick's not even anywhere close to where he needs to be to advance. So for Bob Fitzgerald, that should be your last spot. Obviously, can't confirm it until one of the admins or The powers that be that do the actual points confirm that, but that is mathematically most likely to happen here tonight as we get to 16 laps to go. And obviously, barring anything crazy towards the end of this one, Rick Sanchez battling from 10th to 17th in that second pack. So, yeah, Adam Kilday still working that inside lane, but now as we talk here, you see that outside lane forming. It's the 8 and the 05, the 32, the 6, and then the 411. The inside is still the 85, followed by the 55, the 25, and then the 9. And now 3 wide for the 32 and the 6 to the top of the speedway. So goes the 411 of Tom Dixon, and they are 3 by 3, 3 cars deep. Charles Johnson still deciding where he wants to go, but he's looking towards the middle or the bottom lane, trying to follow in the footsteps of Dean Wilkinson with Adam Kilday ahead of him. 15 laps to go. It'll be 14 as they cross the stripe this time by.
3 by 3 by 3. I guess 3 on 3 by 3?
3 on 3 on 3.
Okay. Well, it looks like that bottom lane is still holding steady. Dean Wilkinson has been solid. Well, whoop, looks like
A little bit of a
Adam
change
Kilday
there.
comes in the second lane. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, then the 25 jumps to the middle.
Mm-hmm. Dean has been solid all night, Boomer. He's been up at the front. Like, I can't say anything, bad about him. He's solid all night, staying up front. He's got his teammate right behind him.
Ooh,
Looks like
sideways.
Ooh,
Contact
God!
there for the 55 and
Hang
the
on.
8. You see a wrinkled quarter panel on the 55, but they stay green. A little bit of contact there, but no harm, no foul. Still pointed straight. And this urgency is absolutely ramped up here. This is not a big pack, but you got to be able to make those moves. The 85 coming back down to cover the 55 to take back control of the inside lane. The 8 of Dude Conrad with teammates Brian Wang and Kevin Freese behind. They are in the middle trying to move forward, and the 32 and the 6 all on their lonesome to the high side.
It kind of looks back there, kind of looking at Kevin. He is really on that back bumper of Brian Wang. They're trying to get Brian to push 8, but look at TW to the outside. The 55 and the 9 have ganged up on the 85 of Adam Kilday, and they are going to possibly overtake Adam there. Dean Wilkinson to the lead.
Continuing to assert his dominance at the front of the pack. He's got the help of the 9 behind him. They're not quite clear of the bottom lane, but they're going to try and get to that as soon as they can. There's more energy in the middle lane as the 32 and the 6 work on the high side, and the 85 and the 411 work on the bottom. The 32 and the 6 working really hard all the way around the outside to try and keep that momentum up. Not able to really make too much progress, but the inside lane surges forward off the corner. We'll see what kind of a run the 55 and the 9 get through the tri-oval here, as they're going to be catching a lap car here of, looks like Carl Lingle and Jeremy Osborne any second now.
Boomer, as I was saying before those 5 went down to the bottom, I was very surprised those 2 cars were able to maintain that bottom. And still, Adam still retains the lead. That is just insane.
So these guys are actually catching the 48.
I think we're going to go 4 wide into turn number 3 here.
And they're already clear there. So that's catching the 48 of Ryan Decker, as I misspoke earlier. So that's going to put him, I believe, 2 laps down now. To go this time by.
I'm getting a little antsy here. Everybody's trying to find their drafting partner. Kevin looks like back there, he's kind of like a little indecisive of who to push at the moment. I think he's trying to hook up with Brian. As we saw 4 wide there earlier. Are we going to see 4 wide? Nope.
Three wide for now.
that momentum on the bottom is still holding strong. You know, early in the race, it was all about the top line, but the question is, how hard were they pushing on the bottom?
We'll see as there's a little bit over there, and then looks like Apologies Trading Paints has reset itself, so hopefully we see the cars coming back to the paint schemes. But it's still the 85 of Adam Kildee in that Toyota Supra controlling that inside lane. Currently the gray car at the moment. There it is, the 85 you see in that number, and the 85 the sim ability. Ooh, a little bit of a moment there, a little sideways there. Big push from the 411, but the 32 and the 6, it's finally paid off for them. They finally get clear of the middle lane and are going to try and make their way down all the way to the bottom. They can't. The 85 is still there, and now the 32 and the 6 will cover the 5 and the 9 in the middle lane. The 25 is now helping Brian Wang in the outside. Dude Conrad's jumped to the inside.
But still, he was sorry, Boomer. He was making that 32 very sideways, right, and right out close to the start finish line. I got a little scared there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, side by side, 3 by 3. And they are continuing to battle here. 8 laps to go. The 05 and the 25 almost clear, and they are to the middle lane. Now that the bottom, the 25 goes. Taking over the lead.
Wow.
So Kevin Freese finds his way back to the lead, but the 32 of Seth Groover is going to try and make it work. Now the 55 and the 9 have jumped to the outside, and we are back to 3 by 3 by 3.
I think Kevin wants to drag somebody he trusts around his back bumper. But Seth Gruber is moving down to the middle, and now he's got the preferred position at the moment.
Adam Kildee is just continuing to work that inside lane. Tom Dixon in the 411 giving him all the push that he needs. As the 32 not quite clear. There'll be 6 laps to go at the stripe. The 32 is in the middle. He's got the push from the 25, who now jumps to the outside with the 05 of Brian Wang. So the 32 is going to slide back to the 6 of Bud Steele. The 25, the 05, the 55, the 9 outside lane. The 85, the 411, the 8 bottom lane. 6 to go here. Not quite clear. The 05 tries to make a move down with his teammate, but the 32 covers. And he's going to give a big push to the 25 in the middle of the corner as he's going to slide up to the outside and take over the spot.
Wow.
To try and do a crossover at a super speedway, and they get a little dicey. The 25 jumps up ahead of them.
They are getting really aggressive, Boomer.
85 covering the middle lane with Bud Steele behind. The 411 promoted to the inside. The 32 continuing to push 25 through the middle of the corner.
Wow.
And the 48 of Ryan Decker still hanging on to this battle. He is 2 laps down. 5 laps to go as the 25 covers back down to the middle. Adam Kildee jumps to the bottom. Tries to get clear, and he will. So he'll be in front of the 411, the 32, and the 05 working the high side. The 25, the 6 in the middle. 55 jumping to the high side with the 9 in the back. Now going all the way to the top. And you can see how squirrely these guys are getting because they are pushing like crazy. Almost to the point where you don't care anything about engine temperature. And just sending it off full throttle, trying to win a race here in 2024 as there are only 3 more opportunities left. Remember, tonight will decide who will make it into the playoffs to compete for the championship over next week and the week after, crowning the 3rd victor of 2024 in the final season of the year. 32 cleared, middle lane now to the 6 behind. 25, 85 inside, 05, 55 outside.
I'm looking at TW on the very outside. I'm looking at Brian Wang too. I'm waiting for that top lane to really start coming in. As we saw earlier in the race, that top line is prevailing, but we're within 3 to go here. And Boomer, we got a little bit of lap traffic coming. But I don't think there will be a factor.
I think we'll be okay, but the 32 is going to jump to the high side. No, staying in the middle for now. 3 laps to go at the stripe. How do you time the move? When do you time the move? There's been a lot of lead changes in these last few laps as the 05 jumps to the middle now. He's clear.
I'll make the move with 2 to go, Boomer. That'll be my plan.
9 cars to decide it. Under 3 laps to go. Kevin Freese leading the inside. Brian Wang the middle. Dean Wilkinson the outside. 4 cars on the inside, 4 cars in the middle, 5 cars in the middle. Now there's a moment there for the 411. He's going to get back on the track, and now he's going to spin all the way around just about, and he is going to collect it and try and hang on to that. And that is going to take the 411 out of contention for tonight, as I'm sure it'll continue to get more dicey with 2 laps to go here in this lead pack. Yellow is out.
We got a yellow.
Yellow flag is out as the 25 or the 55 and the 05 make contact after the yellow comes out. And the 85 involved, not much. Oh, okay, we'll go back to this. It looks like Robert Hooligan crashed further on back. Now, obviously, there was a lot of action in the front of this pack, but it looks like most of the issues were coming from further on back. So we'll take it back to what actually brought the yellow flag out, and it does say it was this pack here, but we'll try and see if we can... Oh, nope, definitely the second pack. Gotcha. There we go. So that is what it was, and we'll rewind that to see where it started. But obviously there was some chaos at the front. That was not what brought out this yellow. This here is the incident you'll see, and we're coming through turns 3 and 4. Robert Hooligan was involved. The 28 was involved, and the 48... looks like he's going to come down on the quarter panel of the 28 and just move him up just ever so slightly, and that is going to cause a chain reaction 3-car pileup. And even though there was the chaos at the front, you see this right here absolutely was what brought out the yellow flag as the 28 tries to go upside down, but the roof flaps thankfully keeping that car all 4 tires pointed in the right direction.
You know, Boomer, I thought it was actually the caution was the 411 there. I thought for a minute there.
Yeah, I did too, but and obviously you saw the 55 get a little sideways at the end there, but well, since we have the opportunity, and it may be one of the only few, we're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back.
At Scentsy, we love fragrance, how it makes us feel, how it connects us to our deepest memories, how sharing those memories connects us with each other.
And as it turns out, there's a lot of people who feel the same way and share Scentsy's core values of simplicity, authenticity, and generosity. Our beautiful campus in Meridian, Idaho welcomes employees, consultants, and the community year-round.
That's why we've grown from selling just warmers and wax to selling a complete line of products, so you can fill your life with fragrance no matter where your day takes you.
Whether it's fun partnerships with beloved brands, innovative, high-performing cleaning products, laundry care that smells as good as it works, or personal care products to create your signature scent, Scentsy products are made to share.
Maybe that's why our culture has always felt like family. We call it Scentsy Spirit. It's a feeling of love, acceptance, generosity, and community that we share freely with everyone we meet. And we welcome you to experience it yourself. Like it? Buy the product. Love it? Host a get-together with your friends. Want more? Start your own Scentsy business. You can earn amazing trips around the world and rewards. You can work your business whenever and wherever you want, giving you more time for the things and people that matter most. Ask your Scentsy consultant for more info.
As always, want to thank our sponsor, Scentsy. And you saw there for a brief moment, you can go back and pause. There's obviously the QR code that goes to support Caitlin Decker and her account through Scentsy. So for all your fragrance needs, your fragrance destination, appreciate them coming on board for our sponsors here at Area 51 and helping us out. As it looks like we got a couple cars that actually came down pit road, quite a few actually. So Kevin Freese stays out, so does Brian Wang, Bud Steele, and Charles Johnson, Adam Kilday, and Rick Sanchez. Now they should have enough fuel to get to the end here. Obviously, they had enough to go the scheduled distance, but with a couple laps under yellow here, that should help. Now, if we get into multiple green-white checkers, there could be an interesting situation for them there. But Seth Groover on back. Everybody pretty much comes down pit road. Seth Groover, just a splash of fuel. Dude Conrad as well. Les Levy joining back in the field. So is Jim Brooks. So that's an opportunity for that second pack. And you see Rick Sanchez all the way up to 6th place. Remember what we said earlier. Bob Fitzgerald needed to finish almost at the back of the pack. And the 5 of Rick Sanchez almost needed to win this race in order for Rick to make the playoffs here with the few races that he had to miss for his back injury. But it's still possible, though Bob Fitzgerald was the beneficiary of the lucky dog in that caution. So he is back on the lead lap in 20th place and has obviously an opportunity to improve his position. So we will try and keep an eye on that between Rick Sanchez and Bob Fitzgerald, but as it stands right now, if Rick can pick up a few more spots, it is possible for him to get back into the chase for the playoffs here and try to grab that 12th and final spot.
I don't know what he's thinking right now. Points or that big fat W?
I think a lot of drivers are just trying to, obviously, points-wise, the only thing that it matters is really to Rick and Bob at this point, because there's nobody else that is in contention. Pretty much everyone's either locked in or locked out. But yeah, at the front of this pack, obviously Brian Wang is, absolutely, you can call him a regular, absolutely in this league, but does not race on the regular. So for him, we've seen him do pretty spectacular in the few races that he's done. So always trophy hunting for him, especially for a guy that doesn't care about points and doesn't really have the ability to race every single race. So, he's looking for that prize. Kevin Freese obviously always trying to add more to the win column. Charles Johnson hasn't raced much, but again, call him a regular for sure. Just not been around as consistently or as often, but always welcome to rejoin the ranks of Area 51 and has potentially an opportunity for a win here tonight. We mentioned Rick Sanchez. He's got his teammate to the inside of him. He's trying to get that final spot in the playoffs, so we'll see what they can do. And I'm sure for Bud Steele, obviously always love a good Bud Steele win. So we'll have to wait and see and hold on as the pace car is going to peel off, and it's going to be a green-white checkered finish here for the namesake of the broadcast channel here, Matt.
Oh, boy. I have no idea what's going to happen. These guys were aggressive. Even with 10 laps to go, now we're coming to a green-white checker situation. Oh, boy. Here we go.
The late caution in the mid-pack causes a re-rack and stack for the top 20 as they do battle for the last 2 laps here. Green-white checkered, green flag back on the speedway. If they make it to the white, that will end the race, and they will race back to the checkered flag. If they don't, we will re-rack, restack, and restart once again. But for now, it's green flag. The 25 side-by-side with his teammate. He's got the push from Bud Steele in the inside lane. The 05 of Brian Wang has Charles Johnson behind him. Nobody in the third lane challenging just yet as Seth Groover is going to jump up there now with Dude Conrad through turns 3 and 4. They have to make it back to the white flag in order to consider this race official. The 25 continuing to lead the inside lane. 6 pushing him. The 05 and the 9 still in the middle. And the 32 is caught all the way up to the rear quarter panel of the 05 with a ton of momentum in that high lane. It will be the white flag. 1 laps to go at Talladega.
Oh, here comes help for Duke Conrad on the top lane at 55 of Dean Wilkinson. As Brian helped the 8 and the 32 give the push onto the outside, but as hold strong, that 25 car is still in the lead. Oh, look at the push by Charles Johnson in the middle. Pushes the 05 now. He has the momentum as we head into turn number 3.
Nothing you could do now but push the car that's in front of you and hope that that helps your line out the most. The one who's doing it the best is Bud Steele, pushing the 25 at the moment on the inside as they come out of turn 4. Does the high side have enough momentum? No, the 9's going to get into the outside here. The 32, the 05 and the 25 all side by side. The 32 with the advantage coming through the trioval. Does he have enough? Does he have enough to get to the finish? It's going to be Seth Groover.
Oh. Wow.
The 32 prevails side by side with the 8, the 05, and the 25. Almost 4 wide crossing the stripe. Enough momentum on the high side all the way around the tri-oval. Seth Groover gets it done. Win for him this season.
Wow, what a race. My goodness.
And the chaos ensuing behind him.
Oh, chaos is right.
So we will see here. Bring up your race results and try to determine where everybody netted out at the end of that. As you see the 32 with the smoke show celebration for his win here tonight. Race results are ready. And it'll be Seth Groover, the top spot, side by side with Dude Conrad, Brian Wang, and Kevin Freese. Dean Wilkinson will come home in the 5th position after a very strong battle all night long. Ed DeBoer, with probably the comeback of the night, was in the 2nd and or 3rd pack at different times throughout the night. The late caution helps him, so does it help Rick Sanchez in the 5, coming home in 7th position. Jim Brooks in 8th. Obviously, he was right around 10th, 11th, leading that 2nd pack for most of the night tonight. He's going to jump into the top 10 there and get a solid finish for him. Les Levy in the 62. He's going to finish in the 9th position. We saw Robert Hooligan go for a ride to bring out that final caution. He is going to come back and finish in the 10th position after coming down by himself under the 2nd green flag pit cycle, which really hurt his track position. Nick Wing there was further back in the pack, just kind of riding along early on, and was able to stay out of most of the chaos and make his way back up with a solid 11th place position. Then we saw Tom Dixon there. Unfortunately, kind of got shuffled out of line, was in contention for the top 9 in what was an incredible battle towards the later stages of that race before the final yellow or first yellow came out, and having to settle for a 12th place position for him. Carl Lingle and Jeremy Osborne, the 2 teammates, are going to find themselves in 13th and 14th. And Bob Fitzgerald recovers a few spots after being a couple laps down most of the race to finish in the 15th position. So for him, with Rick Sanchez finishing 7th, mathematically that should mean that Bob Fitzgerald would have the final spot in the playoffs starting next week. We will confirm that 100%, but I don't believe the math is there for Rick to gain enough of an advantage to make it into the playoffs over Bob Fitzgerald. Andrew Schroeder there in the 048, he's going to come home in the 16th position there. And then Charles Johnson and Dustin Logson, a couple of drivers that were caught up in the chaos in the final laps there. As we'll bring back the results, I'll go to the 2nd page and see Bud Steele there. So Bud Steele unfortunately caught up in that chaos, and he's going to come home the last car on the lead lap. And then Adam Kilday, first car 1 lap down. Eric Laurie in the 071, 21st. Ambrose Kniebel in the 04 is going to be 22nd. We saw Patrick Groover, multiple issues for him for penalties, getting shuffled out of line, and just not the night he wanted to have, things not falling his way. And then Mike Rimkus going to come home 2 laps down, and then Ryan Decker is 3 laps down there in the 25th position. So that'll do it for the final positions, and we'll get ready here, start bringing some people in for a few interviews, and get ready to start to close the night out. So the first one will be the 05 of Brian Wang. We'll bring him up in just a second here as we get a few things situated, and looking forward to talking to him again. A slightly part-time schedule for the 05, and He is obviously, like I said, running a limited schedule, but we've talked to him quite a few times in the broadcast here in the top three, even with that limited schedule. And Brian, that was an incredible battle you guys were having in the top nine towards the end, before that final caution came out, and just all sorts of chaos on that final couple laps. Take us through what it looked like from your vantage point, going home to a P3 position for finish.
Yeah, the last couple of laps after the final pit stop, that was pretty intense. Some of the best racing I've had in this league before. So yeah, that was a ton of fun, super tight racing, and only the one caution at the very end, which was extremely surprising. But yeah, towards the restart, it was Kevin and I at the front, and yeah, obviously there's a wreck in the last lap, but luckily we were still able to finish. What was it? Second, third, and fourth.
Yep, yeah, second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, so yeah, we were pretty lucky to not get involved in the wreck, and yeah, it was just overall a really, really fun race.
Yeah, it looked like honestly, I mean, it looked like you guys were having an absolute blast. Obviously, I'm assuming you guys were probably hoping for that group of 9 cars to be able to battle it out to the end, but that had to be a lot of fun with how many times you guys were trading lines and crossing each other over on a super speedway. That had to be an absolute blast to be a part of there.
Yeah, it was really fun, and yeah, just really surprising that there wasn't a crash earlier because it felt like there were so many points that we were gonna crash. But yeah, super tight racing, and we kept it clean for the most part.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun. And as we saw towards the finish there, obviously, kind of everything just went away, and it was a little bit of chaos. But in the final lap, it looked like at that point, pretty much you, Kevin, and Dude were all side by side. And then obviously the 32 of Seth Groover on the outside there really didn't have a chance to push each other, and nobody was really behind lined up anybody else to push. But in that final lap, were you just trying to get everything you could? Were you trying to side draft it all, or what was kind of that strategy as you guys were trying to come to the line there, all side by side?
Yeah, of course, I saw there was the third line coming to the last lap. There was the third line coming up towards us with Seth leading it and Dude pushing him. And yeah, I was just trying to push them up a little bit, just so that my pusher could get a bit more air. And yeah, it was the third line towards turn 3 and 4. They dropped back a little bit, but Seth was still on my quarter panel, and either way, I thought Seth was going to get the win at that point because of the side draft. But yeah, unfortunately, my pusher got taken out, and so did Kevin's. So we'll never know which line was the fastest. But yeah, that was a great race and a great win for Seth.
Absolutely, a lot of fun, and like you said, it was fun watching it up here in the booth. I know you guys were having fun out in the car there, having a good time. But still a solid finish. Obviously, not the win, but I mean, still 2 in the podium and 3 in the top 5 for your team. So want to roll out that red carpet now and give you those opportunities for any thanks or shout-outs for that podium for you here tonight, Brian.
Yeah, thanks to you guys for broadcasting, everybody at Area 51, and Kevin, and Eric, and Dude.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian, and we'll hope to see you again out on track very soon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, moving along. Teammate in the number 8, Dude Conrad, coming home in the second position tonight. Obviously, we saw the move there going up to the third lane once it was clear for you and Seth Groover. For you, do you think that was probably one of the moves of the race as far as being in position to be to come home second and have a pretty solid finish with some of your teammates side by side coming to the line?
Oh, absolutely. I seen a black car. I thought it was Gabe. I forgot Gabe wasn't in here tonight. It was old Seth.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys made a very good move in front of Dean Wilkinson there, and obviously, kind of the chaos pretty much ensued, pretty much behind you guys. But at that point, when you were going to the front, did you think you kind of had a shot of this thing when you moved out, pulled out of line, and got to that high side?
No, Seth, him and Patrick's been pretty good to me in these races. I was going to stay behind him no matter what. Um, Congratulations to him on the win. I'm not sure what the playoffs look like. It's a fun race though. Blast there at the end.
Yeah, we'll get through. Obviously, well, for everyone's information, but it sounds like the Sim Racer Hub is updated. So on the broadcast side of things, we'll get that update for you guys in just a moment. But obviously, for you, dude, the Sim Racer Hub should be updated and ready to go to see who's in. But yeah, it was a fun race. I mean, it looked like you guys were having an absolute blast. I know I talked to Brian already about it, but that looked like so much fun when you guys were kind of in that pack of nine, just duking it out and trying to get to the finish there before that final caution came out.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Seemed like you guys like the intensity ramped up pretty quick, especially within like 15 laps to go. Were you guys surprised that you were able to race as hard as you were 3x3 for so long?
I, it never surprised me with these guys. We've been caution free a bunch of these Area 51 races. There's got to be a reason for it. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, these guys are pretty damn good.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
race and have fun around them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that adds to the enjoyment for sure when you know that you can race hard, but also not have a lot of cautions or not have a lot of chaos. So obviously we had the one there tonight, but yeah, definitely looked like a lot of fun. And I mean, I think you guys are got to be pretty happy with a 2-3-4 teammate finish there tonight, dude.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I'll roll out that red carpet now for you. Give you any opportunities for thanks or shoutouts as you pretty much finish four wide across the line there and coming home second place.
Just to Kevin and Gabe and Eric for letting me run with y'all, and you guys. The broadcast is awesome to go back and watch every week. And thanks to Area 51.
Awesome. Thank you as well, dude, and hope to talk to you again very soon, man.
10-4, bud.
All right, dude. Take it easy, bud.
Hey, Matt.
Alrighty, and we've got the final interview of the night. It is the 32 of Seth Groover, and we'll bring him up here into the broadcast booth. Winner here at Area 51. I know, I don't believe it's first time winner, but I know it's been a little while for you, at least for Thursday nights. It's gotta feel good to come home P1 and capture that checkered flag here tonight, Seth.
Yep, feels good. It does. It's been a while. Like you said, yeah, you never know when you might not get your last win there, and you gotta enjoy them. But wow, that was tight racing. Um, I gotta thank Dude because he stuck with me that the last lap there, and yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it looked like it for sure. I know, obviously we saw you and Patrick. Obviously at that point, Patrick being a lap down, but you guys kind of made a move to be at the front of the lead pack before the final green flag pit cycle, and then obviously you guys kind of shuffled to the front of that and were able to stay at the front of that pack. And then I mean that battle, I've already talked about it with Dude and Brian, but that battle that you guys had, that 3x3 group, 9 cars, looked like just an absolute blast and so much fun to be a part of.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. That was probably you know one of the best league races I've done, and or just had fun. I think everybody else had fun too, which is good. But yeah, Patrick, I accidentally, I think I came down on him on pit road entry and just took him out. he wasn't very happy about it,
Oh boy.
but yeah, that happens. We'll make mistakes like that. Trust me, I wish I had him up there, but oh man,
Yeah.
that was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. Obviously, it happens. I know Dale Jr. always talks about, when you got 4 cars out on the track, and obviously you two working together always. Every once in a while, you're gonna have an incident where you're gonna run into a teammate, but I'm sure maybe it helps him a little bit more knowing that helped you get to a win tonight, and that's gotta feel pretty good, even if you can't celebrate it with your brother. Obviously, obviously he had, at certain times still a part and a hand in help you get up to the front.
Oh right, yeah, yeah. We just love doing this. Everybody here is really enjoyable to be around, and we all agree when it's a good race, and it was a great race, and yeah, wish Patrick was up there, but heck yeah, we'll take a win for sure. Heck yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I got one more question for you before thanks and shoutouts, but I want to know at what point did you realize that you could win this race? I know obviously the move there, you moved to the outside and dude came with you. Was it then, or was it further on down, the line somewhere in the last lap when you were on the outside, realizing like, hey, I've got a shot at this? When was that moment?
It was as soon as dude went with me. I mic'd up to Patrick. I was like, I'm gonna win this race. Like as soon as dude went with me, and I was like, it was just you had to be really tight up on the top line. You had to run a real low. You had to run like it was four wide, basically. You had to give a whole lane up top, and yeah, as soon as dude went with me, I could just feel how fast we were going, and I knew we were going right to the front. And barring any incidences, which there was almost a couple throughout the whole race, But yeah, I knew that I had a good chance, and you got to thank dude for that. And thank my parents for watching, and I can't wait to watch the broadcast. Not only because it's a good race, but because you guys do such a good job, and I love listening to you guys, and you guys know what you're talking about, so it's really fun, and I'm sure a lot of the people watching they agree with that too. So it's thank you guys for putting it on.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Boomer. I was looking at your stats here. As I look at my record, I was looking at some stats. This is your first Thursday win.
Oh, is it? Wow.
Yes, it is. This
That
is
is
your
great.
first Thursday win. The last win you had was actually August 18th of 2024. That was when we had the Super Truck Series on Sunday. So
Yeah.
this is your first Thursday win. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Yep. That was yep. I don't win too many. I like to pretend that I'm up front all the time, but I win a couple practice races here and there, but I don't win too many of these, but yep. So it feels good to get one. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, you've already, made our job easy and started to go through some of the thanks and shoutouts. But obviously, I know, obviously, it's great to see you and your brother out there running together. And I think your mom is probably one of our. I know we got 3 or 4 that are, absolutely diehard fans, and she's definitely one of them, watching every broadcast. So, appreciate you guys running in the league. And I guess, if there's anything else you want to give thanks or shoutouts for, you're welcome to. I know you already did most of that, but go for it.
No, I mean, I just gotta say it again. I mean, the reason people watch is because you guys are good at what you do. I feel, it feels great to be, on a broadcast, man, and it's, it's awesome to have other people be able to watch. I send a link to a bunch of my friends all the time, and hopefully they watch sometimes. And so, yep. So it's really cool, man.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Seth, on your first Thursday win, and hope you guys have a chance to celebrate this a little bit tonight.
Yep, sounds good, man. Thank you, guys.
Yep, take care, buddy. Alrighty, Matt. So, with that, we've got one more thing to do, and that is to update some points. So, I'm going to bring that graphic up here in just a second, but I want you to kind of take us through, try to digest some of the craziness that was that final race and your final takeaways from tonight.
That was nuts. I kind of peeped down there for a little bit. That was probably one of the best races we had all season. I'm not going to lie. These guys were relentless in pushing. One of them wanted to win so bad. You can tell. Kevin wanted to win. You can see him up to the outside. You can see him dive down to the bottom. And same thing with Brian Wang, and Dude Conrad and Strong of Dean Wilkinson. He's been running front all day. You got to give all these guys credit. It was a very, very good race here tonight. I'm super proud of these guys.
A great race indeed and a great finish. I mean, there was a lot of really solid side-by-side action. Then we saw obviously that battle, three cars, three rows deep, for quite a few laps towards the end. And yeah, that was an absolute blast and a privilege to get to see. And now we'll pull up that playoff graphic there for you, and you see all 12 are going to be reset. Obviously, some of the tiebreakers are set by, I believe, looks like top five finishes and/or top five finishes for the tiebreaker. But obviously, everyone reset to 1,000 points, and it is going to be enough for Bob Fitzgerald to get in. The first car out will be, unfortunately, the 5 of Rick Sanchez, and we had a feeling there was just not enough points for him to make it back. And obviously, he's missed a few races this season. Glad to see him back in the car, and hopefully his back is doing better. And I'm sure he'll be looking forward to try and mount another championship battle here soon into 2025. But these will be the 12 names that will try and decide the final championship here of 2024. Obviously, had a little bit of a break between season 2 and 3, which caused us to shorten up the season. But these guys are going to have 2 weeks to get to that championship trophy here. But it's going to be Kevin Freese, Gabe Butler, Ed DeBoer, Dean Wilkinson, Nicholas Wing, and Jim Brooks. Bob Fitzgerald there getting in the last spot. Carl Lingle, Eric Laurie, Bud Steele, Tom Dixon, and Dustin Logston, as we look forward over those 2 weeks to see all the fun that they are going to have trying to decide who will be the third and final champion of 2024 here on Thursday nights. So again, before we take off, always got to mention the schedule that we have. So we've talked about it, obviously, next 2 weeks here on Thursday nights. You're going to see us heading to the final 2 races of the playoffs, which will be at, as my Sim Racer hub loads, should be, 1 second, looking for it here. If you know it, Matt, you can chime in, but Sim Racer hub stings. Okay, there we go.
I'm looking for it too.
All right, cool. iRacing Super
find it?
Speedway and Daytona. So we'll go to iRacing Super
Okay,
Speedway on the 12th.
Okay.
And Daytona on the 19th. So I'm not sure yet. I don't believe I will be able to join either broadcast, unfortunately. So you'll have Gael Brooks in the booth for sure for next week and potentially the week after. But obviously, always a pleasure to be here at Area 51 and have a lot of fun. So we'll look forward to Matt, you and Gael calling those races for the rest of the season on Thursday nights. On Sundays, we've got one more race this week, or 2 more races, excuse me. So they were able to get the whole playoffs in. Obviously, Thursdays have had quite a few holidays this year with the way that Thanksgiving fell. Thanksgiving falls on Thursday every year, but the way Halloween fell. So 2 weeks shorter for that, but on Sundays they've got the full 4-race playoffs, and they are heading into Atlanta Motor Speedway this Sunday, followed by Talladega Superspeedway to finish on the 15th of December. So I'll actually be in the booth this Sunday taking over, so Gael and I are going to swap next week's races, so I'll take over Sunday and he'll take over Thursday for a change, but nonetheless the action should be the same and should be a lot of fun. So looking forward to closing out the 2025 Season 3 series for both Thursday and Sunday, and then Tuesday for the IndyCar Series. They're going to continue to roll through a couple off weeks here. Obviously, we just raced at Michigan this past week, and then we've got 2 weeks off before we go back to Atlanta on December 17th. And then we're going to take a couple weeks off for obviously the Christmas holiday. So Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve should fall on a Tuesday this year. So no sense in racing on those holidays. So we'll be back after the new year at Gateway on January 7th, going all the way through end of April for the 2024-25 season. A full card of a points schedule there for you on Tuesday nights. So looking forward to that wrapping up in the next couple weeks for the Thursday and the Sunday series. Always appreciative to be a part of that. And Matt, you got any other closing thoughts before I sign us off here?
No, I don't. I am left speechless. These guys put on a hell of a show. It's really, truly the best race I've seen all year between both series. Actually, three wide, three wide. These guys were just relentless out there and keeping it safe, which is unheard of. It's wow. I'm speechless.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, unfortunate with how much action there was going on. Obviously, there were some great battles that we just couldn't unfortunately highlight once we got going there towards the final like 10, 15 laps. But I mean, still great battles going on in the mid pack there. Obviously, the late issue bring out that final caution, but I mean, we went almost 85, 86 or so. Or sorry, no. It's a 70 lap race. We probably went at least 70 laps, caution free. And
Yeah.
especially with the action that we saw at the front. I mean, we saw three wide almost from the get go. 6 to 8 rows deep or so at the beginning, and obviously two sets of green flag pit cycles. So I think that's just a testament to the racing here and how much fun they have. And man, I really wish I was in the car because honestly, if I could have, I would have talked to all those drivers in the top 9 just to hear how much fun they were having in that looked like a blast of a pack with like 15 laps to go. So yeah, love to see. Love to see the winner in Seth. Been a little while since he's been to victory lane here, and obviously I know his mom's watching, so we appreciate her kind of being one of our top fans and always chiming in. So to thank you to Karen, and congratulations to her and her son getting the victory tonight. But yeah, with that, obviously, always thanks to the league, always thanks to all my friends here as we put these broadcasts on within Green White Checker TV. So for Matt Wagner, for Guy L. Brooks, and for myself, Boomer Logan, we want to say thanks to everyone, and hope you have a safe week, and we'll catch you in the next one.